How are you, sir?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
You know it, man. You know it. I know it. Hey, it's 5 o'clock right now.
You didn't have to work today, did you?
I work every day, man.
Yeah.
I'm a business owner, so there ain't no off.
See, you know what? And you can hear that in your music, how dedicated you are to the songs. That means that's how loyal you are to the everyday business world.
Sure, for sure. I mean, I do it every day.
This has got to be a big week for you because, I mean, my God, the album is out and you are just promoting the bejeebus out of it.
Well, you know, you about got to anymore. I mean, if you're not, and on top of that, if I don't like it, you know, I don't show I don't like it, how's anybody else supposed to believe me?
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I'm trying to do all we can with this one and just get the word out, and some things are working out to where they're kind of working together for promotion, you know, so it's been good. You
know, one of the greatest things that I find fascinating with you is the fact that you are using modern day tools, because so many times the rock musicians or any kind of musician will send me like an MP3, but you sent me to a Spotify channel and it's like, oh, he's doing it right. He knows exactly where his audience is.
For sure. Yeah. You know, you can find it anywhere, but try to stay up to date with the industry for the most part. You know, I mean, we still have our normal ways of getting stuff out to our fans. That's been there since day one. But if, you know, if you're not up to times with what's going on, you're kind of not relevant to what's today. So that's kind of big and important to us. So.
Yeah, because even as a mobile entertainer, I mean, when we get together with brides and grooms or other parties and stuff like that, they send me their Spotify lists. It's not about, okay, this is what I heard on the radio. This is what I like. This is what I enjoy.
Sure. Absolutely. That's 100%. And I know exactly what you're talking about. I've done a couple of those. I'm not a DJ, but I have definitely been in those shoes playing at events like that. And, you know, maybe they didn't have one and they're like, can you play these songs? So we didn't hire somebody. So I feel it, man. I know it. I know what you mean.
Do you find yourself, though, going in and looking at the analytics of different songs that people are listening to?
Oh, absolutely. Especially if we have anywhere I can look at like listeners, most definitely. That's huge. That's just, you know, really that's where you can kind of pinpoint your marketing.
Right.
You know, when you're trying to see where you want to spend money marketing for promotion and type stuff like that.
It's almost made you the CEO of Me Incorporated, because I mean, before this even started happening with music, I mean, you relied on record companies to take care of you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely changed the game. I mean, 100%, especially when I came into it again. You know, the industry was totally different than it is now. And, you know, labels are not obsolete. They're definitely not. But you can do more without them to get yourself, you know, whether you're searching for a level or not, but you can get yourself to the next level, whether that's going to be the next level of your career where you want it, or if you want to elevate and take things past that and get bigger. And that's where, especially nowadays, you know, a lot of labels are coming in. They want artists to come in developed, you know, already kind of doing their thing.
Yeah, and you better have those hits on the internet as well, because if you don't, you're not coming on my team.
For sure. Yeah, they definitely want you out working.
Oh, my God. Oh, they do. And they want those numbers. They want to make sure that you've got a connection to those fans.
For sure. Yep, 100%, dude. Yeah, it's changed a lot. I think that, you know, with us, I've always, you know, the end dream for anybody is as big as you can get. You know, and the more and more I get into it, I'm just like, you know, that's the end dream obviously is a huge record deal and be as big as you want, but at the same time, you can do this independent if you want and control how fast you grow.
Right.
You know, because at this point in my life, I'm also a business owner, so I have to be careful about, you know, jumping on the road. You know, I have to plan everything out.
But you did it in the way that you're supposed to do it, where your dad would say, you better have a net, man. Go do what you want to do, but you better have a net.
For sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely – fallback plan was important on this album.
Yeah.
For sure.
So how long did it take for you to sit down and say, oh, I've got the perfect title for this collection of music?
I don't think in this situation, for me, it didn't happen that way.
Wow.
It's kind of been a project for sure that I've wanted since day one, stepping into music. You know, this is – when I look back now, I go, you know, this is exactly what I pictured when I thought go to Nashville and get a record deal. This was the product I thought of, like, it's been well thought through. We're happy with the production. We're happy with the songwriting. We're happy with the flow of the record. Just kind of everything, you know. So this whole deal kind of started right before COVID, and then all through COVID. So it kind of took as long as it did because of that, in a way. And here we are now, and putting this thing out, and it's all worked out. I feel like everything was on its own time, on God's time, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
no time like it, you know. So we're super happy with it, man. It's great. I'm just happy it's out, and folks can go listen to it, and you know, put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this one over the years, so, as they say.
What listeners don't understand is that how when we go into the studio, there's many times that we have to hire musicians to come in. They don't understand that process.
Yeah, so Nashville, that's kind of standard. You know, in the industry, especially with the labels and stuff, you know, there is a group of network musicians that pretty much play on most people's stuff, especially stuff you hear on radio, or, you know, some of these hotter artists. That's a definite thing. There are session musicians. In my case, I've used both on this record. I did have 13 songs I took to Nashville to work with my producer, Jeff Huskins, who used to be Little Texas, now producing music, working at DMG, working with all the big guys. And then I also have 3 other songs on there that were recorded in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And 2 of the songs, some of the songs I used my musicians, and the other I used local, basically Charlotte musicians that kind of play in the network, and they play with me as well, just not my normal band guys. But yeah, dude, it's just, you know, it's getting it done however you got to get it done. You know, with my deal, it's a little different. Some acts that may be, let's use for instance the Zach Brown band,
right.
You know, to give it that signature sound, they're going to bring in certain guys that give it that sound from the band. You know, so that's kind of how that may or may not work for some of the other artists.
Oh my God! And the relationships that you build up with these musicians, because Tama Stedman for me was just so brilliant in the studio, and now today he's making guitars for rock bands all across the country. I just love the fact that the people that you invite into your studio are more than just musicians.
Oh yeah, man. Musicians, I think, get discounted as far as what they really are, as far as talent-wise.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to a level of trying to put out, you know, on a mainstream level. You know, these guys usually have been working in the industry for a long time, and they, like myself, have figured out other ways to do other things so that they can still do music because they love it, just like I do so much. You know, so you make whatever do to, if you really want that to keep happening, you know. So it ain't just music. They know some of these guys, you know, honestly, there's a lot of contractors. I do that. I own a roofing business. There's a lot of contractors in it because it works hand in hand. So for me, it's worked out. I've made relationships for music and my roofing business. So yeah, there's so much talent, man. There's so many things that these guys can do, and some are just will blow your mind how their mind works and how smart they are when it comes to certain things. So.
Do you ever wonder if Hank Williams Sr. ever had a side job? Because I just don't want to believe that he was just the musician.
Oh yeah, and I think the time of his music was way different. You know,
right.
Times were different. That during that time, you know, wasn't long after Johnny Cash could just walk in a radio station and say, "Hey, please play my record. Please play this vinyl. Please play this 33." You know, that ain't a thing. You can't do that no more. You got to grind. You know, I'd say the internet definitely was a great thing for independent artists. At the same time, it allows access to a lot of artists. So in the sense of flooding the industry, it kind of does in the sense of the internet, because it gives access. But at the same time, it also opens up access to a lot of listeners for these guys. So.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the music. Let's break it down, because I totally believe that the Carolina came through you in a big way when you did the title track hit to the album, because this is a Carolina classic. I felt like I was home while listening to it.
Okay. Well, hey, tell me again, what title was it?
Untucked.
Yes, sir. The title track to the album. Yeah, that song came. It was written during COVID. With some, I rewrote that. I was a writer on it. It's part of one of the sessions, when we write in Nashville, and it was two of my buddies involved, and it was, man. Honestly, I think that subject came up like, how do I express, the things I've experienced through music, relationships, and all this, and I had this title idea of Untucked in my head, brought it to the table, and the idea of this with the storyline ended up changing totally with the product you hear than what I originally had, but it's still the sense is there, and honestly, I like it. It's probably one of my favorite tracks on the album. So
let me ask you, when you go through a change like that, I always preserve that moment. I mean, I still have all of my books where I scratch things out and put things in and move things around and stuff like that, because I don't want history to be lost.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, it's easy to do that, and I just turn to music and write it and record it.
Okay.
So, while this is a product I'm putting out for the world to hear and hopefully enjoy my stuff more, it's also something for me to leave behind for my friends and family to go, yeah, I remember that point in time in his life. Because the people that know me can listen to this record and go, I've been through this with all of him, I've been through all this with him, or they know what I'm hinting on or whatnot, and that's the hard part, is like taking those, you're writing about real life, and not necessarily hard, but that's the tricky part about now I'm writing it to fulfill my expression, and then I want it to be accepted by the mainstream media or a mass whole public, so it has to be relatable for everyone. So that's the cool part about songwriting too, because I think we did a pretty good job, if with some of these songs, to make them resonate across audiences other than just relating to what's happened to me, because this record is 100% me.
Yeah. Well, being a wedding DJ for 32 years, the song Wonder Woman, dude, I'm telling you, this is a first dance song.
Oh yeah, that was me and my local Charlotte area guy, my buddy artist Josh Fosdick. We wrote that during COVID on a whim trip. We just decided, let's go to Nashville for the weekend and get away from we do some contracting work together as well. So we were like burnt out and beat from that, and we're like, let's get away. And we got permission from our households, and we went to Nashville and hung out with our buddies, and ended up writing that song in downtown Nashville overlooking the city. So
in American Dreamer, were you channeling Tom Petty?
It's funny you said that. Actually, in the writing room in 2019, when we were writing that March 2019, one of my buddies who's a writer on that, he was talking about Springsteen or John Cougar Mellencamp.
Wow.
That sound. So that's 100% that Tom Petty, that Americana sound. The Springsteen, that era of music is definitely some of that sound mixed with everything you've heard since then, and then you just throw that country vocal of mine on there, and I feel like it makes my record sound great, So it rounded mine out with that song, for sure.
I totally agree with you. This is one of those songs that will stand up and say, hey, look, you need to be, invited to a farm fest or some sort of festival up in Wisconsin, just so that people understand that you are in touch with the beat of the land.
Sure. And another cool thing about that one, American Dreamer, we just dropped the video on that one Friday with the album. It's on YouTube right now. We did an exclusive premiere with the South Carolina National Guard.
Oh my God.
We got to film it at McIntyre Joint Air Base in Hopkins, South Carolina. So there's a lot of people in this video. We did some farm locations, just people that I know that wanted to be involved, and local Hunger Heroes Foundation, nonprofit foundation that feeds our first responders and our veterans and active duty military and stuff. And they're part, there's just so much involved with the video, and it's been going great so far for us now. And that video is definitely going to, we're using Aristo in Nashville for distribution on that to try to get it to mainstream. It's going to go to TV. I'm not exactly sure who's going to pick it up, but we'll probably have some of the others that's worked with us before, Eric and stuff like that.
You got to be like Morgan Wallen and get your own iced tea, dude.
Dude, I know, right? Come on. Hey, listen, one of my longtime best friends and bandmates, buddies, Chris Gladden plays in his band, got that job a couple years ago now, but I've heard so much about that and how great that camp is. It's funny you said Wallen, because I do have a slight connection. I don't know Wallen personally, but I know some of the band guys. And like I said, one of my best friends plays for him. And yeah, that's a good deal he's got going for him over there. So.
Oh, my God, dude. Every night, because I'm in customer service at Harris Teeter. So therefore, I have my Morgan Wallen every night at 8 o'clock. And it's like, I want my Matt Tucker 8 o'clock every night. Give me some good sweet tea from the South.
Yes, sir. Please. We can make it happen. We call it American Dreamer tea. It'd be like Michael's Magic Juice in the Space Jam movies. It's American Dreamer, it's sweet tea.
So, do you use a song like Tiny Town as being the anchor of this collection of music? Because there's so much here that I did not know about when you and I first got together to talk about Tiny Town.
Sure. Tiny Towns was kind of the first deal. With this collection of songs, I had these songs pretty much done. I've been sitting on them for a while. Of course, we do some polishing with mastering and stuff beforehand. But as far as the song being able to be heard and be pitched, they've been done for a little while. And there's a show on Outdoor Channel that's called Renovation Hunters, and I know one of the hosts, and I've known him for a while. And he kind of approached me. I was doing an event for him when they were starting this show. A couple years back, and they needed a theme song, and I said, "Listen, I got some stuff that might fit that's already recorded." They heard Tiny Towns in the rough mix state, and he said, "Dude, that's the song. Yeah, I need that song for the show." I was like, "Well, go for it. It's yours." So that was already getting played. That helped us because once the show started catching on, people started looking for the song. Like, where'd this song come from? That's a cool song for the theme. So that helped for sure, and hopefully that just keeps growing and helping us out even more. But yeah, it's awesome how a lot of this stuff, a lot of these songs have some type of connection to something else to draw people into the record. Yep. And that was big for me, and it all worked out great. Like I said, it's just definitely a godsend, God timing thing for me. I feel like, and just super excited, man. I just hope people listen to it and love it, and if they don't, I hope they talk about it anyway, because that's going to make somebody else go listen.
I can totally see you driving from, let's say, Rock Hill to Columbia on 77 with the song Overdrive, or you're doing 74 into Gaston County. Where were you at when you did Overdrive? Because that's a great highway song.
Funny. So I wrote Overdrive during COVID. I was living in Charlotte, me and my fiance, and honestly, man, I remember this distinctly. I was doing a lot of writing at the time at home, because this was during the heavy COVID restriction period. Yep. Like, we weren't even supposed to have so many people at our houses at the time, and of course we were, because we're rebel country artists, at the time. I was 100% just nothing. We were 150 shows a year with the band. So it went from like constant go to nothing. So, my mind's just racing and going crazy. And Overdrive, man, honestly, I was playing something on my acoustic writing one night, and this little that little bouncy riff part came to my head, and I just started putting lyrics to it. And then I remember Morgan, my fiance, she goes, "That's catchy," and she loves like R&B and hip hop. She's a country girl; she loves country, but like when she's by herself, she listens to Boom Boom,
Yep, so, absolutely.
And she's like, "That's got a hip hop vibe to it." And I was like, "Hold on, well, I'll tell you what, we're gonna put some hip hop lyrics, throw some rock behind it, and put a country voice on it, and see what happens."
Wow.
So that's how we got it.
Well, that Boom Boom has headed toward you guys, because, I mean, look at Beyonce now, and you sit back going, oh, I love it, but am I supposed to like it?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of controversy on that track, but it's a good sounding track, man. It's a good song. Yep. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, in my opinion, and when somebody asks me what kind of music do, I do music. I'm a songwriter. I consider myself, especially nowadays, the more and more I get into the writing and production part, I love the songwriting part. I love the creation of that message that hits people.
Yep.
So, like, I pride myself on it a lot more anymore, and I plan to do nothing but try to get better at it. So, you know, listen to it, I'm like, when somebody asks me, hey, what do you think about this song, and what kind of music are you? And I'm like, I'm music, man. Like, I listen to everything. I know what my voice fits as far as when I need to sing it. But for writing, dude, I feel like I can write across the board. It's just music to me.
Yep.
You know, so.
Oh my God! Because
that's what I think.
I still remember the days when my mom and dad were so upset when Hank Williams Jr. came to Billings, Montana, and they were going, "He doesn't sing like his daddy." I'm going, "It's not your music. Why were you even there?"
Right. Well, it's happened throughout my life, hearing the same thing. You know, and honestly, early in my career, I struggled with that. That was constantly like, I'm one of those people. Once I hear something, whether it's like well known, everybody knows that so and so is saying this about whatever. But once I hear something that bothers me, it sticks in my head. So, you know, I was always self conscious about, man, I hope the old school cats are going to like this song. And then finally, you know, like with this record, as it coming up, we're getting closer and closer to try to do something with it. I'm like, man, you know what? I love this album. It's mine. You know, like I did all this. These are my creations, along with everybody involved. I don't care what, you know, somebody born in the 60s, one person says, well, that ain't blah, blah, blah music. And I'm like, no, you're right. It's not. It's 2024 and it's Matt Tucker. You know what I mean? Like, this is me. If you don't like it, no offense, go on. Go do yours. And I'll tell you what, I won't tell you the next time I don't like it when you're burning leaves in your yard. How about that?
So when you put together I Miss You Girl, did you envision that your live audience would put up their smartphones with the light on it? Because this is definitely a true love song. Yeah,
I Miss You Girl. Man, I wrote that after my dog died. That's totally about my dog, 100%. Oh my
God. Wow.
So listen to it careful, because when we were doing it in the studio, I remember the session guys going, yeah, it's a great song, man, and no offense, like I just thought it kind of sounded like every other love song until I got to the end, and you pretty much said it was a dog, and I was like. And he said, and then I started tearing up. And I'm like, well, don't do that. It's a happy, sad song. It's in remembrance of like my best friend, my dog I love so much forever. So that passed away. And that's what it was. She was a family dog, and kids knew her, and everybody knew her that knew me, you know. So now I've got Murphy. You'll see him in the American Dreamer video. So, you know, since then. But when I wrote the song, it was I barely could sing it writing it, because it was tearing me up, and I'm like, where is this coming from? How am I writing these? Why am I writing about this? And then why does it feel like I need to keep going? Because this sucks. I'm crying right now, you know. But the more and more I lived with it, I'm like, yeah, this definitely, I want this on the album, because that dog was very special. Cammie was very big in my life through the time she was here. So I just felt like, you know, that was more of a for me, and I know for sure that the people that knew me with that dog, knows exactly what the reason I put it out. So
yeah, but you know what though, Matt, is that everybody can relate with that. We've all been in that position, and I love my dog as well, and my wife knows that I love my dog more than I probably love her. But we're still together 32 years. So when we hear a song like this, I mean, it dug into my soul.
Yeah, well, that's. Not me trying to make everybody cry, man, but it's just me expressing, hey, this was important to me, and maybe it is to you. And if you like it, I hope you share it with somebody else. Because, like, another thing is, there hadn't been a dog song in country music in a while, and then I put this out, and then now Chaser, I'm like, everybody had the same idea at the same time, didn't they? We all decided, hey, we better put there's just a few dog songs out, and I'm like, oh, how about that? Everybody had the same idea.
oh my God, you know, Stonewall Jackson, Me and You and a Dog Named Boo, man, I grew up on that song.
Dude, I know, man. There are some great dog songs. I was like, maybe there needs to be one more. If anything, it's going to be my dog's song on my album. And here you go. I hope you like it. You know.
So how do you prepare to take a song to a live stage such as Remember Livin'?
You know, I have played that a couple times.
Really?
And it goes over well, man. Honestly, like, I feel like those songs are easier to play. You know, given the situation, you don't want to. If you're playing Friends in Low Places at 12 o'clock at a country bar with rowdy beer drinkers, I'm not going to bust out I Miss You Girl in the middle of it. I'm going to pick the right time of the night. Mm-hmm. But you know, that one, I'm sorry, not a Miss You Go, Remember Living. But yeah, that one just, I think that one came to us. I came with that idea like, hey, you know, people go through rocky spots in their life with relationships. And obviously at the time I was in one rocky. And I said, what about just remembering what brought you together? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of 90s influences, but there are quite a few Alan Jackson puns to this record. That song has one. But it's got that feel, that vibe of like what he would write as a love song to me, you know, like, so that one just, yeah, it was an idea and we wrote it. And I felt like, I'm like, this could really be a great love song. And yeah, I've busted it out on stage and it gets a good reaction. And honestly, I don't know much else about the feedback on it because a lot of people were like, I didn't even know you had that song,
right?
You know, until they started releasing the record. When I released it on the record, they're like, dude, I've never heard that. I'm like, yeah. But, you know, to me, I'm like, there needs to be some songs that nobody's quote unquote heard. Mm-hmm. If they're even the close ones, closest people to me, like, I need to have some surprises here on this album to draw people in instead of going, yeah, I've heard that. I'm not going to pull it up. No, I need you to. I need you to stream it because it looks. I need them numbers. I need you to stream it. So what can I do? So surprise. Let's put bonus tracks and tracks they never heard on here. So
I won't be shocked. You some huge numbers on what I call a Bon Jovi meets Brad Paisley moment, and that's My Kind of Time.
Yeah, cool, man. I haven't heard that, but I like that. I've heard Luke Bryan. I've heard, actually, I've heard a lot of people compare it to like Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
Which I'm fine with. I love the song. Another one, this whole, like I said, this album was written during COVID for the most part. And this is another one, sitting in the kitchen, can't go nowhere. I'm trying to express to her how much I care about her. And here we go. Just more, I guess, just cool little, what do you call them, puns, I guess, where I'm talking about Bonnie and Clyde, and then we go into this breakdown of like halftime, which is a lot of people are really liking Hardy nowadays. So it's got that little Hardy halftime vibe in it, but then again it goes right back to just country rock, and then yeah, man, that's a great one. That one's been out for a little while when we got a video out on it, and that was like, yeah, well, this has to be on the album because it done well when we first put it out. So.
Wow. Man, I could talk to you all night. Where can people go to find out more about you, to get you booked inside their clubs and arenas? I mean, because they need to know about your journey and to experience that show.
For sure. Well, the easiest would be matttuckermusic.com. There's contact forms there. You know, all the social links, media, music, videos, you name it, you can get to me through my website, matttuckermusic.com. I'm on all the social platforms, and again, you can find those on my website. If you got one, if you Google Matt Tucker Music, I'll come up pretty quick. And it's pretty easy to get in touch with me. So yeah, just Google me, ask Google, ask Siri, ask Amazon. You know, if you got a smart device that'll talk back to you, you can probably ask him about Matt Tucker Music. So.
You know, we got to do this again. You know, the door is always open for you. You can come back anytime you want to, sir.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time, buddy. And you know what? And I will be back soon. We go. Hopefully, we have a lot more to talk about. So let's just plan on it. How about that?
I love it. Well, you be brilliant tonight. All right, guy.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.